Everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and this is my very late review of Ironheart's episode 4 through 6, the finale of the series, or season, I don't know. And yeah, well, first, it's been pretty busy. Lots of movies coming out. You know, I'm late to this review. But also, the 3-episode release at a time, I gotta say, and maybe it's just my feeling towards Marvel as a whole, or especially the Disney Plus shows of Marvel, but I just haven't felt as much of in a hurry to cover this show or even the last couple shows as I did, for example, Andor. Like, Andor released 3 episodes at a time, and I am there like that night trying to record, and those episodes were even longer, I think. So, you know, I maybe it just says something about like the state of Marvel for me. Whereas like it just doesn't feel as pressing of a matter. Having said all that, I do gotta say, Ironheart, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this show, you know, and it's kind of funny because like there's all like the telltale signs of production trouble and the studio being worried about how it's going to be received, and you know, all kinds of stuff, right? Because we know that this show was made at least a year ago, if not more than that, and it was meant to be released a long time ago. And the fact that they are not releasing this show weekly like they would traditionally for Disney Plus shows, you know, it just kind of shows like maybe the studio wasn't so confident with this one. But after having watched it, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Now, I do think that there was quite a bit of tinkering. It does feel like there are a lot of stuff that was rushed, and maybe giant segments were edited out. It feels almost as if this was originally a 9-episode series or something, because it feels like character development and motivations are happening at lightning speed, right? We're told something one episode, and the next episode, like, oh, this character is fully transformed, they're fully like a villain now, right? Like things just happen so quickly because they only have 6 episodes, and I guess I understand that, but you know, like I said, it feels as if this was originally a slightly longer show. But like I said, I did enjoy my viewing of this one. So what do we got here? Basically, Parker has let the rest of the crew know that oh hey, Riri killed my cousin, right? Which she didn't exactly kill him. It's one of those like, well, it was self-defense and he was trapped in there and they had to leave and the doors are going to lock behind them, and he kind of just got left behind, but he was trying to kill her. So, you know, it's one of those like kind of gray areas, but he fully blames her for his death, and the rest of the crew kind of just goes along with it. Like, they are fully willing to kill Riri Williams because this guy said that she did this, and like they don't even like try to hear her side or anything. So I guess this crew is a much tighter group than they ever let on. Like, they all seemed like they're kind of friends, I guess, or at the very least like they're all kind of joking with each other, but they're willing to commit murder against people just based on what one of them says, without even like asking Riri like, hey, is this how it went down? What exactly happened? Like, nothing, just straight to murder. And they all seem pretty happy about it, which I don't know, I felt was like very sudden and very like, oh, okay, suddenly these people who were kind of like quirky thieves, you know, like some misfit rogues gallery kind of thing, now they're just murderers and they're evil. And I'm like, oh, all right, damn. it felt very sudden. And speaking of that, of course, we have Ezekiel, who he is gone to jail now. He's been arrested because she accidentally left behind that piece of tech that he gave her, and so he's just arrested in connection to this, even though it's like, I don't know, it feels a little dubious as far as like how much he can actually be held responsible for anything that happened, but sure, okay. He's in jail, he's really mad at her, and he ends up getting broken out by the Hood, who's basically like, hey, you want to, you know, you want to get revenge, I want to get revenge, let's work together. So he gets all of his tech. He gets like implants and all this crazy tech stuff happening on, so now he's basically an android, right? And yeah, also he seems pretty evil now. He does at least remain a little bit consistent in that he's not willing to straight up kill her. Like, he stops himself from killing her, lies to the other bad guys and says like, oh no, she's totally dead. So at least there is still like that glimmer of the character we saw before, but it still felt like a very extreme shift. Like, no one is willing to like let Riri tell her side of the story or anything. Like, they all just kind of immediately turn evil and say like, nope, she's the bad guy. And, you know, admittedly, Riri has done some morally questionable stuff in this show, but I don't know, it felt like everyone is like very reactionary to an extreme. So I don't know, but it was cool. Like, the android fight was cool, and he, you know, he's able to hold his own. Of course, he finds out later that Parker has access to his command or something, but he's basically able to just use him like a puppet and just make him do whatever he wants with just verbal commands. So he's not exactly free. He basically went from being in jail to being someone's android slave. So that's interesting. And it's revealed that the hood, what the hood really wants, like what this was all even for, was really just to get back at his dad, who abandoned him when he was 12 because he just didn't want him anymore. Like, this is like the most evil father in the world. So, you know, they really easily get you to feel for Parker's situation, because you're like, yeah, that he, like, the dad was straight up like, yeah, I just didn't want you anymore, so I kicked you out when you were 12. Like, okay, wow. I guess my thing is, this guy is so rich and powerful, and he controls all these other companies. None of this is made the news. Like I mean, I guess maybe he can like keep the news quiet or something with his money, but it just felt like, hey, billionaire has a son that he kicked out at the age of 12 and is now having to commit crimes to survive. Like, that feels like it would be news somewhere, but okay, sure. It just hasn't been picked up, I guess. Anyways, he wants revenge on his dad, so that's why he's been going to all these companies, getting people to sign things. That way he has a controlling stake in all these companies. Now, I gotta say, it doesn't feel realistic that would hold up at all. Like, it feels like they could turn around saying like, hey, under duress, I was forced to sign something, so, you know, let's cancel that. Like, it just kind of I don't know, seems like a really easy to prove thing, you know, based on all the destruction these people leave behind, that like, yeah, these people broke in, I was under duress, I was forced to sign that, let's undo it. Like, it seems like these rich people would be able to make that happen pretty easily, but this is the plan, this is what we're going with. Anyways, meanwhile, yeah, Riri fights off the crew inside the diner, and you know, she's able to hold her own for a while until she meets up with Ezekiel and gets her butt kicked. And let's see what else. Oh, she finally shows the brother of the AI girl, I can't remember her name now. She finally shows the brother like, hey, this is the AI. Not intentionally, like the suit AI went and got him and brought him to Riri, and then the AI kind of revealed itself, and of course he freaks out because it's, you know, his dead sister being used as an AI image here. And that's kind of my whole thing, is like, yeah, he's having the right reaction, because I guess you could try to justify a way in which, you know, it's in any way healthy to like, hey, my friend died, I just made a digital recreation of them, and I'm just gonna basically start acting like this is my friend now. Like, I don't know, that just feels very iffy as far as mental health concerns go. Like, I don't know if that's the best way to cope with a loss, but anyways, it's here, the brother has the right reaction, and they get into another fight. And I will say, Riri and this AI feel like they've been arguing 90% of this show. You know, like she was completely rejecting this AI at first, and then they got in this big fight now, and I don't know, it feels like it's rare for her to get along with her AI, which seems strange because the AI just has the personality of her friend, so it feels like they'd be easier to get along with, but whatever. And let's see what else. Oh, Riri decides that she needs to fight magic with magic. So she ends up going to her magic friend. Basically, her mom's friend turns out to actually legitimately have magic, and her daughter does as well. And they run this candy pastry shop, and beneath that they have an actual magic area where they can make spells and do all kinds of stuff. And it turns out that she is or was a student at not Madripoor. Is it Madripoor? The Doctor Strange place. I don't remember if it's Madripoor or not. Anyways, she was a student there, and so she's picked up a bunch of stuff. And this makes sense to me, because if you go back and watch that first Doctor Strange movie, like the guy who had a fixed spine, he was just a guy using magic. Like, people in this Marvel universe, normal people can use magic. You don't need to be special necessarily to learn how to use it. So, you know, it just makes sense that this would happen more often. Like, you'd go down the street and your neighbor would be like, oh yeah, they know magic, like legit magic, like Doctor Strange style magic. And I buy that in this world. And I'm kind of surprised it just hasn't happened more often in some of these shows. Like, oh yeah, you know, they're trying to be a wizard, so they started practicing the magic stuff. Anyways, so she helps her out. They rebuild a whole new suit after it got destroyed by Ezekiel, and they're trying to infuse it with magic. And this ends up deleting the AI friend for some reason. Now it's only kind of explained, like, oh yeah, the arc reactor or whatever could not handle both the technology upgrades and magic somehow, and that caused her to be erased. I don't really get it, how that's an explanation, but she's gone. Like, for dramatic effect, she's gone, and so she's lost her friend for a second time, and it's real sad. And basically she decides to go confront Parker, the Hood. And it's kind of interesting. The fight is okay. You know, it doesn't last too long. She uses a trick on him to basically defeat him using hologram tech, right? And what we find out, we get our big confirmation of things that, you know, channels like New Rockstars and other theorists have been wanting forever. Mephisto is here. He is here. He is the one that gave the Hood his hood, and yeah, just he's your classic devil type figure going around making deals with people for their souls or whatever else. And it is Sacha Baron Cohen, like the rumors have long said that it was going to be. I guess my only thing is, like, this show really threw me for a loop. During the first episode, the friend was saying, like, oh, it's probably Dormammu, right? And they name dropped it, and they talked about how what's his name, Caecilius, the guy from the first Doctor Strange, got all marked up for Dormammu, and I really thought that's where they're going. I thought, like, after all the hints and all the clues of it being Mephisto, they're gonna, like, do a giant left turn swerve, and it's actually Dormammu this whole time, which I do believe was the thing in the comics. It was Dormammu in the comics who gave the Hood his hood. So anyways, there you go. Mephisto confirmed. It finally happened. He's here. And this show ends on a very interesting note, and I feel like I gotta applaud the show for doing this, because it would be so easy for any other show to have Riri reject the offer of Mephisto, who is offering to bring her friend back, or her AI back. And we find out pretty soon, during what I assume is a fast forward in time, where she does end up seeing her friend again, and it's her real friend. She's back from the dead, and she doesn't remember ever dying, and she doesn't know anything the AI knew, obviously, because she was not the AI. They were two different things. So yeah, Riri Williams seemingly made a deal with Mephisto to bring her friend back. What's gonna happen here? I don't know. I guess my thing is, like, on one hand, you know, again, I'm really happy that they had the guts to make this like a dark ending, because it would have been so easy for any other show to just have Riri be like, no, I know who I am, and I know my purpose and all this stuff. I don't need to make deals with the devil. But to have your main character just give into it and make the deal, like, that's an interesting way to end a season or slash series. So I am curious where this goes from here, because, you know, are we gonna get a season 2? Is Ironheart gonna I have to imagine she shows up in other movies, Doomsday, Secret Wars, you know, whatever, Young Avengers or something. I have to imagine Ironheart shows up for those, but now she's made a deal with the devil. So I don't know, it feels like this is a major plot point to leave on. And I'm very curious as to what they're thinking, like what's gonna happen next. But yeah, very interesting overall. I really enjoyed the season. I liked a lot of the stuff they introduced and played around with, and stuff that made sense in the Marvel universe. I do think it was pretty rushed. Like, a lot of the characters just like, oh, she killed him, okay, let's go kill her. Like it's, I don't know, it felt like there should have been several more episodes kind of building up to these moments. But a character will say something, and then the next scene, like, that thing has happened, and there you go. That's but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a pretty interesting journey into a side of Marvel we haven't really seen yet. This fusion of technology and magic, and all the themes playing around with that, and I thought that was pretty cool. Again, where is Ironheart going to show up next? How is this going to be, I guess, consequential to the rest of the Marvel universe? Are we going to see Mephisto? I have to imagine Mephisto's showing up more. Like, that's the first thing. Like you don't get Sacha Baron Cohen for 15 minutes of screen time. Like, no, he's gonna show up in a movie. He's gonna show up in some other series. Like, he's the guy who comes up and offers people's deals, right? Like, so I have to imagine, Spider-Man will run into him, as he famously does, right? So who knows where this is going. But in any case, yeah, that's Ironheart. I feel like, it definitely had its flaws. It definitely felt rushed, and a lot of the decision making was kind of questionable at times. But overall, I had fun. It was a fun show. It surprised me at the end. So yeah, I guess that's really all you can ask for a Marvel Disney Plus show. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Is Riri Williams a hero? I mean, she kind of let someone die, and then she kind of probably took a deal with the devil to get her friend back, and Riri Williams, darker, kind of a darker Iron Man, like very morally gray area, doing questionable stuff that, I don't know if this is heroic. It's interesting, but I don't know if this is what a hero would do. Interesting. Anyways, so that's Ironheart. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys later.